Hi guys, and thank you for tuning in. If you are a returning viewer, welcome back, and if you are new here, welcome. So today I want to start with a genuine question. Why is no one talking about hardcode? Honestly, it feels like the series should be much bigger in the GL space right now, and yet the conversation has been quieter than I expected. I'm assuming it's due to the early platform issues with Monomax, or maybe it's because it simply slipped through the cracks with GL fans. Either way, now that we're 3 episodes in, I feel ready to give a proper recommendation. And as of right now, I'm giving Hardcode a solid 9 out of 10. Personally, I'm a big fan of police procedurals and political mysteries, so in many ways, I am the ideal viewer for this kind of genre. With that said, I'm holding back from a 10 because we still have 4 episodes left, and realistically, that's more than enough time for a series to either elevate itself or completely unravel. Now, before we even get into the story, we have to talk about accessibility. Hardcode is a Mono original and streams on Monomax. Before Hardcode, Monomax was only available in Thailand. Naturally, that created a viewing obstacle for international fans. Fortunately, Mono rolled out international access in time for Hardcode's release, but also unfortunately, it was not smooth and there were some major initial access issues. For me, it took a few days to get access. There was a point where I saw others were able to get on, but I was still not able to. After some troubleshooting, I determined if you're using any kind of VPN, Monomax won't allow you access to the site. Also, when attempting to access the site using Safari, I also had issues, but when I switched to Google Chrome, the site worked perfectly, though I do believe that the Safari issues have been resolved. So if you're still struggling, try another browser and turn off your VPN. It genuinely might fix the problem. But more broadly, the point I want to make here is that though eventually the access issues were sorted, platform friction absolutely impacts visibility. When something is hard to access, people move on, and unfortunately, I think that slowed down the momentum Hardcode deserved. At its core, Hardcode is a meet-cute layered inside a political conspiracy. Vicky, a baker, meets Tara, a well-respected police captain, and they are immediately attracted to each other. Moreover, Vicky, who is also the daughter of a powerful police officer, survives an assassination attempt and is secretly enrolled in an elite training program to learn to protect herself, where Tara is also enrolled. Here, their bond grows deeper as they complete their training. However, the series is not only a romance, there's potentially the murder of Tara's father mixed with political corruption, which may or may not have been orchestrated by Vicky's father. This revelation complicates the feelings Tara has for Vicky. It's what I would call an inconvenient love story, the kind that complicates duty, justice, loyalty, and of course love. First and foremost, the production quality stands out. When the trailer was released, I immediately added Hardcode to my most anticipated list of the year. Visually, it just looked confident. Thankfully, the series delivers on that promise. The cinematography feels deliberate, the lighting during emotional moments is soft but not overly sentimental, and the training sequences are intense. Overall, it feels cohesive and planned, and frankly, that level of polish elevates the entire viewing experience. Now, arguably, the most important element in any GL series is the chemistry. What I appreciate most is that it doesn't feel forced. Instead, their connection feels immediate but believable. There is one scene in particular where Tara is teaching Vicky how to shoot. The scene is slowed down, the framing tightens, and the atmosphere shifts. For a brief moment, I genuinely held my breath. You almost forgot they're in training, and instead you feel the connection between them. It's subtle and restrained, yet intense. Importantly though, the show doesn't allow the moment to overpower the central plot. It gives you a glimpse of their chemistry, then pulls back into the larger narrative. That balance is incredibly difficult to achieve, but Hardcode nails it. Now, admittedly, it hasn't reached the top tier yearning of Pam and Dokrak in the series Us by GMMTV, but honestly, it's close, and with 4 episodes remaining, there's still room to deepen that emotional intensity. What impresses me most, however, is the integration of the romance into the plot. Sometimes in shorter GL series, the external plot feels like decoration. Here, it feels essential. If you enjoy the conspiracy elements of the series Patrikios, you'll most likely appreciate this series as well. That said, Patrikios had 10 episodes, whereas Hardcode only has 7. Naturally, that affects pacing, and the emotional development here moves slightly faster. I will say that even though Hardcode has to move at a faster pace when it comes to the romance, it hasn't felt rushed and it does feel intentional. That brings me to my one concern. the episode count. 7 episodes is tight, and it's very tight for a GL. And historically, shorter GL series sometimes struggle in their final act. Often there's a sudden rush to resolve multiple plot threads, conflicts get wrapped up too neatly, and the emotional payoff falls flat. When that happens, it can retroactively color the viewer's experience, even if the majority of the series was excellent. So admittedly, that's my hesitation. I really hope they stick the landing, because if they do, this could easily move from a 9 to a 10 for me. Ultimately, Hardcode is for you if you enjoy police procedurals mixed with conspiracy and romance in a high-stakes narrative. On the other hand, if you prefer slice-of-life storytelling or narratives where romance is the sole focus, this may not be your ideal watch. Currently, Monomax costs 99 baht a month, which is just over 3 USD. And in my view, I think the 99 baht is worth it. If you're able to support the series, I encourage you to do so. Monomax also hosted a worldwide premiere on YouTube. You can at least give the premiere a watch to figure out if the rest of the series is worth it for you. I'll link it below. If for some reason it's unavailable in your region by the time you're watching this, that's likely due to licensing restrictions, in which case I do apologize. Amazingly, between the release of 4 Elements, The Earth, and Hardcode, 2026 is already shaping up to be a very strong year for GL dramas. I can already see my top 5 series of all time might be facing a reshuffle this year. And honestly, I welcome it because it means things are getting better in terms of production quality and story. But yeah guys, with all of that said, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Are you watching Hardcode? Did the Monomax Access issues stop you, or are you waiting to binge all 7 episodes? And as always, thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed my ramblings, I invite you to like and subscribe, and I will see you later. Bye.